The summer blockbuster season is almost upon us, and as a pessimistic asshole, I felt a natural responsibility to lament about how poor the status of blockbusters is right now in the summer season. Blockbusters, as everyone knows, were created in 1975 when Steven Spielberg's Jaws was released, and for a 20-year period we experienced the golden age of blockbusters, where pretty much every year we got to enjoy a classic blockbuster that would stand the test of time. But in 1996, when literally the only good movie released was Fargo, this all was destroyed. For whatever reason, ever since 1996, the state of blockbusters has never been the same. We exited out of the golden age into the shit age, and of course, some years have produced exceptional movies. Please, I'm not a communist. But with that being said, the general aura about blockbusters has not been the same. It's not been as exciting. And of course, the quality has dipped way below the expected line. And so this begs the question, will we ever see a blockbuster era that can match up to those 20 years? And the answer is maybe, but I think we missed out on a golden opportunity in 2014 when the movie Live, Die, Repeat came out. Oh, wait a minute, it wasn't fucking called that, it was called Edge of Tomorrow. For reasons I'll go into later, Edge of Tomorrow was the perfect way to start a new era of blockbusters. But it underproduced. It really didn't make a lot of money. And it just was not in the stars for some reason. But it's such a quality film. There's so much good here. And so much that could be applied to the 2010s audience. But it fell through. Edge of Tomorrow had so many elements that could have brought a lot of casual moviegoers in. It had a familiar premise, one taken from the 1993 comedy classic Groundhog Day, and a familiar star, Tom Cruise. However, Tom wasn't playing his usual role. Oh no, he wasn't Mr. Macho Man running around like a maniac. He was a coward, and to take his place, we have none other than Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt's character in this film is amazing. She's an excellently written character and a female badass, going down as one of the greats alongside Ellen Ripley and Sarah Connors. And every regular fan of action will just appreciate that. They won't get mad because there's no ideal flaunting here. It's not Captain Marvel where every 10 seconds Brie Larson is shoving something down your throat. No, she's just a great character who just so happens to be stronger than her male counterpart, and it plays into the story. It actually matters, which is all I need. However, this film could have capitalized on the more socially progressive audience. Let's be real here, a lot of people that did go and see Captain Marvel are in it for the empowering message about females, and Edge of Tomorrow to an extent has that. Emily Blunt is stronger than all the men in this movie. She's practically the savior of the human race, and so to have a woman as empowering as that as the lead of the film alongside Tom freaking Cruise is an impressive feat and one that would inspire a lot of feminists to go out and see this movie. Edge of Tomorrow also had a unique opportunity to capitalize on its battle sequences. First off, the Battle of Normandy. We have a familiar location previously seen in a successful summer blockbuster, Saving Private Ryan, further giving security to the audience about the purchase of their ticket. But we have a superb mix of practical and CGI effects. The thing is, and no one cares about the practical effects anymore. All the kids are just looking at what we can have in terms of the scale of the battles. And Edge of Tomorrow gives that. The scale of this battle is colossal, something we've never seen before on the big screen. The amount of people, the amount of copters, the amount of bullets, the amount of aliens, just the general size of the area they're fighting on. It's something never seen before, and it was truly captivating even seeing it in my living room. All these kids that have wasted their lives on the Transformers movies would have eaten this shit up if it was actually shown on a grand scale. And people like myself who love practical effects and the emphasis on those effects would have eaten this shit up too. But the practical element wasn't emphasized, not only in the trailers, but also in interviews. No, instead we had a bunch of Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt blowing smoke up everyone's ass. And that is the big problem with this film and why it failed to succeed. You know, it's funny because a lot of this movie is about Tom Cruise failing to communicate to everyone why they should trust him. And really, the marketing team failed to communicate why we should all go see this movie. And it's because they had zero faith in the uniqueness of Edge of Tomorrow. Should we make the title, actually reflect the brilliant premise of the film? Nah, let's go with Edge of Tomorrow, because that's not fucking stupid. Yeah, it sounds edgy and shit, but it fails to have faith in the actual premise of the film. And Live, Die, Repeat was such a perfect title for it. People didn't go see this movie because they thought it was called Live, Die, Repeat and not Edge of Tomorrow. I mean, that is how poorly you marketed this film. You just have the perfect mantra to go in for the title, and you can't even do that. And that is not the extent of it here, ladies and gentlemen, because they just throw a bunch of fucking Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt into these trailers, and not in the way you'd expect. Tom Cruise, for once, is playing a pussy in an action film. This is brilliant, and it's what makes this film special and different compared to all of the other action films out there. But nah, let's just have him in a fucking mech shooting up aliens like a badass. Like, why are you trying to make your film like every other film out there? And Emily Blunt, I mean, sweet lord, she certainly doesn't go far enough into the feminist range. Lord knows they'll never get the end of it. But for people who just love badass action female heroes, you don't have that either. You don't actually see her kicking ass. No, you see her doing some push-ups, and you see her with a sword in a mech suit, and just like, actually show her kicking ass with the sword. Why are we not getting that? Why are we just getting her? Why are we just getting Tom Cruise? Why are we not getting their characters? No, don't even try capitalizing on the people that love Saving Private Ryan by trying to advertise the film as a war film that is almost a horror story and an allegory for what if the Nazis knew we were coming on D-Day and ready to kick our ass. No, let's just show Tom Cruise getting killed over and over again. I mean, that is the most emphasized part of the film. Do you think you really need that much of that in the trailers? Do you really? And it just goes to show how generic they wanted this film to look in all of these trailers. Let's not show the full, epic, large-scale battle of the Battle of Normandy. Let's just show a bunch of close-ups that makes everything look like shit. Everything unique about this film is just swept away. I mean, the film even has a pretty good sense of comedy, and it's pretty unique, and the edits here are actually pretty damn funny. But let's not show that. Let's just show him getting killed over and over again, even though that's probably the most repetitive and only bad part about the premise of the film. This film was a marketing disaster. I remember sitting in the theaters in 2014 and remember thinking that this was going to be another stereotypical action film. And of course, I wouldn't have put it as eloquently as I would put it now in 2019, but even then I knew that it looked not special at all. It looked like more Hollywood people at the top of the hierarchy doing an action film just for the money. But that's not what this film is. It's the opposite of that. It goes back to the classic blockbuster era where it doesn't matter how important you are. You're there to serve the purpose of the story and deliver an excellent form of escapism for about 2 hours. And Edge of Tomorrow is not at the standard of the Golden Age blockbusters, but this film would have galvanized summer blockbuster and casual movie-going fans if it capitalized on its fucking premise. If it actually showed shit that was cool about the film in the trailers, people would have been ecstatic to get a piece of this. And it wouldn't have just been the critics talking this film up. People would have went and seen it, but it was a marketing disaster. And yet, we gotta blame ourselves to some extent. Feels like marketers catered to people in these trailers. I mean, people love badass action heroes. They saw Taken, even though Taken sucks, so why not give them more of that? Why try and show something that may scare them? People love Emily Blunt, so why show Emily Blunt doing anything too, radically crazy, chopping an alien monster's head off when we can just show them Emily Blunt? Why show them these grand battles when people eat up the stuff that's all close and quick, like the Bourne trilogy? Moviegoers eat mediocrity up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and this film tried to cater to the love of mediocrity, and it didn't strike a chord. It was just so bland and so bad that people were not interested in what this movie had to say. And because of that, we may have missed out on a perfect opportunity to strike a new renaissance of summer blockbusters. John Wick, which came out a couple months away from Edge of Tomorrow, led to a new renaissance of these smaller action flicks where it's one guy just shooting a bunch of people in the fucking head, and it's because they had faith in Keanu Reeves. The year before, he had one of the biggest busts in Hollywood history, and they were like, nah, it's just a fucking Keanu comeback movie. He's just gonna shoot a bunch of people. And because they had faith in the premise, it worked, it's successful, and now we got a third movie coming up. Edge of Tomorrow did not have faith in the uniqueness of the product, and because of that, we're still in a pretty pretty fucking sad state of summer blockbusters. Now, maybe this summer season we can get something that brings about a whole new age of brilliance, but as of now, Edge of Tomorrow was a huge missed opportunity, and I'm still bitching about it 5 years later. So here's hoping that when Edge of Tomorrow 2 comes out, Live, Die, Repeat, hopefully it's fucking called that, we can get a new age of summer blockbusters. But until then, I am Lightspeed Brother Nick. I'm still pissed off. See you next time.